Hey there, it's Mark from Men Who Bullet. Thanks for joining me today in a brand new series where I'm partnering with Zinnia on creating really cool digital spreads inside of the Zinnia app. Now, whether you're into bullet journaling, planning, memory keeping, or any other type of planning, Zinnia covers it all. And there's such great, amazing content inside of this app that we're really gonna get deep and we're going to explore it. Now, as a part of this series, over on my main YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/menwhobullet, I'm actually utilizing traditional bullet journal methods as well as using stationary pens, markers, things like that. But in this video today, we're going to go ahead and create a very cool, detailed weekly spread utilizing some sugar skulls, and we'll also add in a few other elements around weekly planning, space for notes, as well as space for habit tracking. So I'm really excited to get into this with you today and take a look. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna open up a new journal that I just made called Sugar Skull Weekly. Inside of here, this is where we're going to be creating our full page spread utilizing sugar skulls. So I'll tap on new page. To begin, I'm going to start with our dot grid here. I'm actually gonna make this a darker color for right now because I'm going to add a dark gray color to the background once we're done adding everything in here. This will just help me because it'll remind me as we're going through to make sure I'm changing the colors of the elements so I don't have to do that at the end when everything's layered on top. So once we've picked that out, I'll tap continue and we'll go ahead and start our page. So the way that I'm gonna lay this page out is into quarters, or really thirds when you break it down. Over here on the left-hand side, we'll put a title for the month. I'll have a monthly calendar here as well as a habit tracker. In the center space on each one of the sides of the spread, I'll have the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, with a space for the weekend. And then this whole section over here will be just for notes and tasks. So to get started, the first thing that I want to do is find the borders that I'm going to use for this. Now, to do this, I'm going to go into our studio here, and there's an entire selection of frames here. Now, there is some really cool fall content that was just added, and usually I would go for it. There's these spider webs here, but I don't want to over design this and take away from the sugar skulls because they're so cool. What I'm going to use is actually instead of large border, and this only came from just experience of me playing around in here and finding what I like. So down here, you'll see a really big, huge frame. It has this line detail around the outside, which I think will look really cool. It'll be subtle, and that way won't take away from the beauty of the sugar skulls. So what I like to do is actually add all of my frames at once and then resize them and move them around. You could also do this by taking the one, copying and pasting it, but we're just gonna do this real quick. So what I do is I drop down the one, I'm gonna add in 5 more, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we've got the extra one there. So sometimes I get the right amount, sometimes I don't. So the first thing I'll do here is try to find about the space that I'm gonna use for these. I used my dot grid just to give me a little bit of an idea. Because it's not exactly precise, I try to find around the space that I'm gonna use for it. So let's do it right here. The first thing I'll do is, since I already have them all selected, because these are all solid shapes and you see the 3 overlapping circles here, that means that I can change the color on all of those. And I'm gonna change them to white. As I mentioned, we're gonna add a really dark color to the background, so this will help them stand out. So now that I have what I need, I'll go ahead and tap off and then tap on them again, and this will let me pull each one of these out individually to start placing on the pages here. I always just like to move that last one just to make sure there's not an extra underneath of there. So we have all of these here. So the first thing I'll do is just select them all, and I'm actually gonna group them, and then I'm gonna lock them, and that'll keep them right where they are and nothing else will move as we're creating the rest of these pages. So the next thing we'll do is go ahead and add in the sugar skulls. Now the reason that I went with the sugar skulls for this week is because I really like the way that they look. They're very ornate and very beautiful. And if you want to find these, instead of finding them underneath the fall content, they're actually underneath of culture. If you're not familiar with sugar skulls, they are from the Aztec ritual of celebrating the lives of those who have been deceased. And they're usually closely related to an All Saints or the All Souls Day, and that happens right around Halloween and the 1st and 2nd of November. And most of the time they are connected to the Dias de los Muertos, which is the Day of the Dead. So we're gonna go ahead and add these in here. I love the colors and I love the patterns. I think it'll really add a really wonderful look to this weekly spread. So what I like to do here is just tap on each one of them, and you'll see each of them adding to a layer on this page. I'm going to do the same thing I did with my frames, is that I'm going to select all of them. And as you can see, because I lock those frames, they don't get selected as I'm doing this. It's just a repeated thing that I like to do whenever I'm working in here, just to remind myself, because these could be placed anywhere and I want to make it as easy as possible. So I'm going to size them about that size. And then now I'll just take each one of them and put them into the top left corner, each of the frames. And right when I have them about where I want them, and then I'll go ahead and add in the days of the week. So we'll go back into the studio, we'll go to lettering, days of the week, and there's a lot of different options inside of here. I'm actually going to use these flags that are down here underneath the light. I think that they add a really nice look, and I'll get a close-up of them in just a second, because they're not exactly perfect. So we did Monday through Friday and then the weekend. And same thing, we'll select them all with this. So as I mentioned, they aren't exactly perfect. They do have a nice little organic edge there, which I really liked about these. I think they go well with the frames that are here. So I'm going to size that in a way that only the right-hand side of the flag will show, and the left-hand side will actually move a layer below the sugar skulls. So that's the right size that I want. So then I'll start to move everything around. The weekend is down here. And then let's go ahead and we'll just tap on and hold on each one of these sugar skulls, and we'll bring those all a layer up. And they'll go right over top of those flags. So as we're starting off, we have each of the Day of the Dead sugar skulls here with the flag behind them for Monday through Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on the other side. So let's go ahead and figure out what we're doing for the other sides here. So we know that we want to add a title for our page, we want to add a calendar, and we want to add a habit tracker. For the title of the page, we'll go to our text boxes here. What I like about these is that all of these frames and designs look beautiful, but they already have a text box built right into it. So you don't have to write over top of them or add a text box and resize them separately. I'm gonna use the Chalk It Up because I love the way that these look. They're kind of antique-y, and I think that this one here with the branches looks really cool, and that'll fit our whole fall autumn vibe. A little bit of scary going on here. We're in October, so I'm going to add October here. And we're going to do this for next week. So we are going to do this starting on the 19th, ending on the 25th. Now, a few things I need to do here. First, I need to change the color to white so it stands out on that black. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is increase the font. I'm going to make this really nice and big to take up the space, and this is how I usually work, is I'll make it as big as I need it, and then I'll use this line spacing detail here to bring it down a little bit to right about where I need it, and then I'll just keep fooling with it a little bit to give it enough space so you can read it, but not too far away or too close. It's an art. I'll size it appropriately for the top part of my page here. So the next thing that I want to add is going to be the overall monthly calendar. So for this, if I go inside of planner icons, there's an entire calendar section here with some really neat looking calendars. I'm going to go with the 2020 mini calendars. The reason that I'm doing this, two reasons. One, it's very minimalistic and I like the way that that looks, but also it's not overly done. So what I'll be able to do here is keep the days of the week, but because I already have an October header here, I don't need the one that's here. So when I add that color to the background, I'll show you how you can draw over and get rid of it. So I'll go ahead and here, because it's a solid color, I can change the color. We're gonna change that to white. And the last thing we'll add down here is actually going to be a habit tracker that we're gonna pull off of another template. There's a lot of really cool templates that are already built inside of Zinnia, and they're so great because you can ungroup them and just take the pieces that you want. So I'm gonna go inside of weekly planners, and further down on the page, there's a really cool weekly planner. It's pretty expansive. Here it is. It's very large. It would take up 2 spreads if you were using it as it is. And it's really cool. Everything's already built in, everything's already marked up and allows you to add in your text. But the only thing that I want from this one here is this habit tracker. I like it for a few reasons. One, because it's very similar to the flags we added for the days of the week, but I really like it because it has the Monday through Sunday already on here, and I can just add in the habits that I want to track and then just X them all for add a mark or something like that I want. So to get just this piece, I'll tap on the overall template and I'm gonna tap ungroup. We'll tap off, and then we're gonna go ahead and just use the lasso tool. And we're only going to select this habit tracker, and we're gonna copy it, tap off, go back to this other page, tap to paste it, and it grabbed everything. So I'm gonna size it from my page here. I'm gonna change the color of this just to white. And then I can come in here and I can start to add my habits that I want. So we'll double tap inside of the text box here, it opens it up. And we're gonna focus on 30 minutes of working out. Hit enter. And we're gonna focus on 1 hour of reading. Now I want this to be the white text, so I'll tap on the A over here, pick my color, which will be white. And we'll go ahead and come back out. We're almost done. We just need to add text over here, which will be for our notes section. So I'll just tap notes and I'll change that font color to white to match the other parts of the page. And then the last thing we're gonna do here is add that darker color to the background, and we'll go ahead and make it all nice and spooky. Now to do that, because right now Zinnia only gives you so many colors to pick from. So if we go into our page settings, I could change whatever color I wanted to right here. But because this craft paper is the darkest that we've got to do our own thing here. And the way that we're gonna do that is go in and to our search bar, and I'm gonna type in rectangle. Now I could go into shapes, I know where they are, but sometimes it's easier just to pop them in right here. I'm gonna pick this one, and I'm just gonna pinch it really huge. And then I'm gonna hold down on the layers here, and that's gonna push it all the way back. Now if I tap on this, I can lock it in place. That way it's not adding anything extra to the page if I'm moving things around. Now the last thing I do is just draw over top of this October. So I'm gonna tap on the drawing tool. I'm gonna find something that's gonna work well. Usually the paint pen does a pretty good job. I'm going to go ahead and select the color picker here just to make sure that I've got the right color. And then I'm gonna come down over here and I'm just gonna color right over top of where it said October. And that way it gets rid of it. I have a title, I don't need another one. And we'll tap done, and that'll be everything that we have here. All right, hopefully you found some cool, exciting things inside of the new content within Zinnia, where we just created an entire spread utilizing some of those really cool sugar skull stickers. Now don't forget, this is a brand new series where I'm also going to be recreating these type of spreads inside of a traditional bullet journal over on my main YouTube channel, youtube.com/menwhobullet. So make sure to check out that video there as well. And you can see what you like, whether you want to dabble inside of digital planning with an app like Zinnia, or try your hand at digital planning and designing inside of a traditional bullet journal. We'll have more videos in this series coming up very soon. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you can get notified of when brand new content's coming out. We've got a lot of great plans coming up for you, so I'm looking forward to sharing more creativity and awesome spreads utilizing the Zinnia app. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great one.